This episode of commandN, tablet wars heat up, earbuds that won't tangle, and Willie Nelson goes local. Welcome to episode 244 of commandN. I'm Amber. Before we get to our hot topic on tablet wars, here are some stories making headlines. Flickr has just introduced geofencing. This will allow you to protect the location information that is embedded within your photos. So this means that next time you upload a photo to Flickr, you're able to geotag the photo, and only your friends and family or people who you want to be able to access location information will be able to see it. If you're looking for a better way to find out what links your friends are sharing on Twitter, there's a new service out there called Strawberry Jam. Great name. It will allow you to find out the links that people in your community are sharing the most, so you can figure out what type of content that community really likes. It's only available now in beta, but it should be coming to the public pretty soon.
I was just guessing at numbers and figures, pulling the puzzles apart. Questions of science and progress don't speak as loud.
If you're wondering what Willie Nelson, a Mexican restaurant chain, and Coldplay have in common, well, we're here to tell you. Willie Nelson has just teamed up with Chipotle to release this video that is an animated film featuring the story of an organic farmer who has sold his soul to become a big factory farmer. Eventually, this farmer realizes that he made a mistake and he turns back to doing farming the old way. This is the perfect example of how a social media campaign from a big organization like Chipotle can really reach out to do some social good.
I'm going back to the start.
Jobs recently announced that he was retiring as Apple CEO.
We turn now to that big news about Steve Jobs.
He's the creative force behind one of the world's biggest brands.
Apple says its CEO, Steve Jobs, is resigning effective immediately.
We thought this would be a great opportunity to take a look at what may be his greatest creation to date, the iPad, and how tablets are moving forward in the post-PC world.
It's like John Gruber recently wrote on his Daring Fireball site, the Apple iPad didn't just enter the tablet market, it created it. So this year at CES we saw over 80 tablet devices announced, really flooding the marketplace, which is pretty interesting. And so far there's just no clear competitor to the iPad, which has something like almost 70% of the market.
And I don't think it's good for the market to have this many competitors. I think it'd be better if there were 3 or 4 like real good products that are competing with the market leader on the basis of functionality.
Google's Android OS is becoming increasingly popular on a number of these devices, and it's interesting to see how Apple is moving to kind of protect its intellectual property. For example, we recently had a ruling coming out of Germany that the Samsung Galaxy Tab is going to be taken off the market because the device just looks too similar to the iPad. So Apple's taking legal means to protect the look and feel of the device.
Yeah, and the patent wars are really heating up. Google's acquired Motorola Mobility, and it's over 17,000 patents, and it says to defend against what Google calls a hostile, organized campaign against its Android ecosystem or platform by Apple and Microsoft. And of course, Microsoft is also jumping into this game.
Personally, I'd really love the chance to play with more of these devices. I think there are few too many of them on the market, but it is interesting to kind of see how manufacturers are making their own device stand out. For example, I very recently had the chance to play around a little bit with an Asus Eee Pad Transformer tablet, which has a completely different colored frame. It's not your traditional now silver, black, or even white if you can get it. It's a bronzy color, and the back of the device has a nice textured honeycomb sort of feel. So that's one way that they've made their products stand out, and it's going to be interesting to see if other manufacturers can do similar things, make sure that their product is not just a clone of the iPad.
Yeah, and they can throw in lots of hardware, different functionality, like there's HDMI out on some of these, better cameras. lots of different things. And in fact, the Samsung, it really does look very, very similar to the iPad. I can see why Apple would make the move towards it. But in any case, it's going to be really interesting times to watch the tablet wars, and best of luck to Steve Jobs and his post-Apple CEO life.
If you're a fan of Halo, you probably love the web series Red vs. Blue. I had a chance to catch up with my favorite character, Tex.
Well, I guess so much for our go-round.
I heard that 479er.
Yep, that's because I transmitted it.
Everybody on the earth knows about Red vs. Blue, but it is actually a show we've been doing for 8 years now, utilizing the game Halo and creating a comedy animation program from it. We're in our 9th season right now.
You ready, antenna ball?
I told you not to call me that, and hurry it up. This metal rod isn't exactly in a comfortable place.
My character is Tex, and she plays, I think I can say this, badass.
Maybe we should just fight. I'm afraid she's gonna start picking us off one by one.
She basically beats up all the guys, the red team and the blue team. They're not really the smartest bunch of fellas, but she kind of keeps them in line.
You know what? I work better alone. You ladies stay here. I'll be back in 2 minutes with that thing's head on a platter.
How have things changed over the past few years with your character, but also with the series?
You know, the series, we've actually brought on an animator, Monty Ohm, and he does CGI animation and motion capture. So what we do is we integrate the machinima with the CGI so that now my character can be even more badass with a lot of moves that you can't do with the game.
Wait.
This season, season 9, is one of the biggest character arcs for Tex and Church. You'll really figure out and see where they came from. It's Project Freelancer, and how they became who they are, and what they have to do with the whole big, the big plot, basically, of all of Red vs. Blue.
Just wanted to do a quick review of Griffins TuneBuds in-ear headphones. And for inexpensive headphones, these have great sound, especially the bass, but there's a few other things that I find really cool about them. They come with 3 different sizes of these silicone inserts, which is obviously necessary to get a good tight fit in your ear, and they don't slip out for me. I can exercise with them and stuff, and that seal, not only does it block out a lot of the extraneous sort of environmental noise, but it does contribute to making that bass sound that much more effective. It's got a 46-inch long cord here, and the cord is a very different material than any other headphone that I've seen, and it's kind of textured, and it makes it really easy to untangle, which is a huge sanity saver for me because I'm constantly untangling headphones coming out of my pocket, so that's a relief. It's got a 1-button remote control with mic built in, so you can do the play, stop, fast forward, rewind, all those 1-button touches that you can on your iPhone. It does not have the volume controls inline, but I don't find it very difficult to just reach into my pocket or even on the outside of my pocket where my iPhone is and use its controls for that. The colors include black, white, blue, red, purple, and silver, and the cost is just $20 to $30.
That's all for today's show, but before we go, we wanted to announce the contest winner, who is at Canadian Hermit on Twitter. Thank you so much. You will be receiving the Microsoft Back to School prize pack, and you'll be getting an email from us soon. As always, you can find us online at commandN.tv, where you'll find all the links we talked about on the show, and you can leave us your feedback. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.